northbound between Haggerty and I-275. Bloomfield Hills, your stop-and-go traffic is at Telegraph northbound between Franklin and Square Lake Road. In Clarkston, you have Dixie Highway northbound between Maybe and Ortonville Road. Pontiac, you're looking at M59 between Paddock and Martin Luther King Boulevard. In Ypsilanti, you're looking at Michigan Avenue eastbound between US 23 and Carpenter Road. There's a slowdown in Taylor right at Telegraph northbound between US 24 Telegraph Road and Eureka. In Southfield, Telegraph northbound between Franklin and Civic Center Drive. And in Detroit, West Jeffrey southbound between Warren Avenue and Martin Luther King Boulevard. Now, on to the weather. Right now in Detroit, it's 49 degrees and clear. Today, we're looking at a mix of clouds and sun this morning, followed by increasing clouds with showers developing in the afternoon with a high of 74 degrees. Showers this evening with thin thunderstorms developing overnight with a low of 44. Becoming partly cloudy after some morning rain with a high near 55 degrees on Tuesday. Tuesday night, we're looking at a low of 41 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Wednesday, cloudy skies with a high of 54 degrees. The weather's been brought to you by Weather Vision, and the traffic's been brought to you by the Total Traffic Network. Coming up, our own urban conservative, Kerry Jackson, right here on 9:10 a.m., the Superstation, the voice of Detroit.
Good morning, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Jackson, your urban conservative. How are you this morning? Time now is 6:04 a.m. If you've got to be there by 7 o'clock, you've got 56 minutes to get there. Today is May 6th, the day after Cinco de Mayo. Let me tell you, Detroiters, listen, when I was practicing law, I used to represent quite a number of people down in Southwest Detroit. I'm aware that Southwest Detroit is the location of a population of mostly Hispanic, Mexican or Puerto Ricans. I had absolutely, positively no idea that that place lit up so large and that it was the packed place to be on Cinco de Mayo. I would always expect that, okay, Cinco de Mayo, you assume that people are going to go over to Mexican Village. But I wasn't in it. I saw footage last night of West Verner Highway, and it looked like, the way Hart Plaza used to look in the old days. I had no idea that Cinco de Mayo, that y'all took hanging out in Cinco de Mayo. But here's the thing. I ain't really seeing any Hispanics or Mexicans in the footage. I saw a bunch of African Americans. I saw a very large, very, very large crowd of African Americans hanging out over the highway. Now, for those people that have retail outlets and, bars and things like that over their way, I'm sure that Cinco de Mayo yesterday was their Black Friday, that they were able to cover, that they made enough money, hopefully, to cover bills for the next several months. I'm sure that they were happy that you showed up out there. But I don't know, somehow I missed out on it becoming as large of a gathering as it has become. Anyway, that is not the topic this morning. I wanted to talk this morning about Mayor Duggan. Well, not exactly Mayor Duggan. For those of you that somehow missed it, because it would have been very easy to miss, Friday, after all of the news outlets, after the things were quiet, Friday after 7 o'clock, it was the news hit, apparently both didn't like the news and the Free Press, that the mayor's wife had filed for divorce. And apparently she quietly filed at some time earlier on the day, on Friday, but it did not make the news until late in the day. I don't really know how that happens, because you all know that there are people who work in the courthouse, each and every one of the courthouses. It's pretty much their side hustle to notify the news media whenever something like that, whenever there's a filing with certain people's names in it. This is not a secret that there are court staff that will copy it and then send it to their friend, and I have no idea if they get paid for it or not. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble or get anybody fired. I mean, a filing in the courthouse is public information, so nobody is sharing something that they're not supposed to share. But there's always that person who tells. There's always that person that gives their friend in the media the heads up as to what has happened and what is filed. All of those people would have been gone by 5 o'clock. So clearly, somebody in that courthouse knew before 5 o'clock. It should have been on the earlier news. It should have been covered. Here's my thing. When Kwame Kilpatrick was mayor, when there was the slightest hint that he had been involved in some sort of improprieties, when the fact that there was some text messages that clearly pointed out that he had been involved in some improprieties, when that stuff was brought out, there was pretty much night and day 24-hour coverage. You couldn't move anywhere without hearing about every single aspect, from what suit he wore, did she pick this suit, this rumor, that rumor, everything under the earth. Some of it, clearly, I guarantee you, was fake news, but it had been covered by every single. We were saturated with salacious details, true or false details, about the former mayor. And this bit of news, the fact that Bob Carmack ran the video that he ran, that was 6 months ago. The banner towing, the allegations of an affair that were on the banner that were towed on opening day, that still was more than a month ago. This is the fact that the current occupant of the Manugia Mansion is not being lambasted in the media as much. And I mean, if there are those folks that are saying, listen, it's his private information, it's his private life, why are we involved in it? I don't really care if the man cheats. I don't really care who he cheats with. It does become public information if, in fact, he has used his office and taxpayer funds to enrich his girlfriend. That's definitely news. Helping out your friends and things like that, that's a crime. You remember, we've got a mayor who's currently in prison serving 28 years for such an offense. It's not the kind of thing that you sort of hide, sweep under the rug, and ignore. Or if it is the kind of thing that you hide, sweep it under the rug, and ignore it, why? What's the difference? Why was it such news? Why was it such a salacious, we need to drive him out of office, 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week coverage back in 2008? And now, it's not one of those things we're really not going to cover it if we don't have to. You'll remember a few weeks ago when when Cat Stevens, or Stafford, I believe is the name. Cat Stevens is a group. When Cat Stafford actually covered, they had the very long detailed coverage that they had put on the internet overnight. I talked about it when I went into the studio that morning, but you remember I couldn't find it was released overnight, but it was not in the print version of the newspaper the next day. I stopped and grabbed both news and the free press, and it wasn't in there. I found out later on, after I talked about it on Monday, that it had been front page coverage on the Sunday newspaper. So I knew that I wanted to discuss this today. So of course I checked the Sunday paper. It's really not that much in the Sunday paper. And actually, I looked all throughout the Sunday paper. There's nothing in there about Mayor Duggan and his wife getting divorced. This information was released late in the day on Friday. I don't have a copy of the Saturday paper, so it might have been in the Saturday paper. I doubt that it was as involved as it was. But my question is, why is there such I don't want to say a media lid on, but why is there a different standard being applied in this case for our current mayor? But before we get to that, there is a gentleman, many of you have heard him. He's been on our radio station before, been in the studio before on plenty of occasions, by the name of Rick Ector. Rick is a NRA trained firearm instructor. Routinely has, like every weekend, he has training for those individuals who are looking to get their concealed pistol license. And so he regularly trains them. I'm sure he trains them all through the week as well, but I know that they do a training on the weekend. And he's got an event coming up, and he wants to tell you about it, and I'm glad that Rick was up early enough this morning to join us. So let's go to Rick.
He's on.
Good morning, Rick. How are you this morning?
Hey, good morning, man. How are you today?
Hanging out and having fun. That's what I do at 6 o'clock in the morning. Say, I'd be lying if I told you that I was 1,000% present. No, it's just I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get some exercises in so that I can get my heart pumping and stuff, and look through all of the newspapers
Right.
and get on the air. So,
Well, I definitely can appreciate the exercise thing, man, because I've made it a priority within the last 2 months to take on a more active role in being more fit, and I'm also working out, but I don't work out that early in the morning, but I give you all the credit for being more active in your health, man, and glad to hear you doing
oh,
it.
brother, wait. Let me not take credit for anything that I'm not. If it wasn't for my wife, I would not do it. Let's be clear. My philosophy, and I've told people this for years, is I have been to funerals of people who were, overweight, obese. I've also been to funerals of those people who were 40 years old, who jogged every day, worked out, perfect, physically fit, still dead and in a box. So working out every day is not going to guarantee one thing or the other. I simply do it because when I finally hit 260, I could tell that my clothes didn't fit, and I looked in the pictures. I was like, "Whoa, who's that?" And so, I'm all right being anywhere around 240, the 220 to 240. I would prefer to get down to 220, but haven't been there in a while. So, I'm going to hang out in the 240 range for a minute, and then we'll see later on. I'll make another effort and try and get back down to 220. My doctor says my ideal weight is 200. It's not going to ever happen. I don't really plan to do that. I'm not going for it. So I'm fine where I'm at.
Look, you can do whatever you put your mind up to do, man. If you want to be 200, all you have to do is put together. It's really easy. If you burn more calories than you eat, you're going to lose weight.
I understand that, but guess what? I'm not about to put my mind to it. I tell you, and so we're going to wind up having to keep you till after we come back from the break, because we take a break at 6:20. We're going to get started on you in a minute, but here's my thing. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
Right.
I have eaten cookies every single day for my life as long as I can remember. I will drive across state lines and go to, back when I was young and single, there was a young woman who thought that she was riding with me to Chicago because she thought that I was going to Chicago to go shopping on Michigan Avenue. I went to Chicago to buy cookies. All right, I went to Chicago to buy Chicago public school lunchroom cookies. That's my vice in life, period, is eating cookies.
They must be very good. I've never heard of them being.
It's because you didn't go to Chicago public school. If you had gone to Chicago public school, you would understand So apparently there's somebody here who sells them now, and I know that a couple of the fried chicken places in town, they import them in, and they have the butter cookies in the little package. They charge way too much for them. But yeah, they are.
I mean, are they really that good?
They're so good that, let me tell you this, I will drive home and deliberately fill the trunk up with them. And when I get back, the friends of mine that I have here come by on Sunday night or Monday morning and raid my kitchen all the time. Now, they don't bring me any money for the cookies. They just come take theirs. That's it. I have family members who are there who will wait until I come home and go buy them when they are close enough where they could actually go buy their own. Yeah, I'm speaking to two family members in particular right now, but, they take care of me, so I can't complain. That's my mother and my auntie, because they are around the corner from the place where I will go. They have the phone number. They could go get their own if they wanted to, but they wait until I come home and stock up on them, and then everybody says, bring me some of those. So, hey, that's my habit.
I can buy these locally from an importer or
from the.
Now I'm thinking.
What's the name of the little New Waves?
I definitely at least want to try one.
Let me tell you where I found them. And they're right there on 6 Mile and Hubble. That New Waves has them. J&J over on 8 Mile off of Evergreen usually has some. They're butter cookies. They usually have 3 or 4 of them in a package in a little plastic container thing. To me, they're good. I'm not really into oatmeal cookies and gourmet cookies and none of that other stuff. No, butter cookies, chocolate chip, that's for me. Right. I mean, let me tell you, so much, my neighbors have learned that, because neighbors are always trying to figure out what to buy you on the holiday and stuff. And my next door neighbors were here one day on my birthday, and they saw friends of mine come by and bring me cookies, and they were like, "What's going on with the cookie things?" Like, that's my habit. I don't smoke, drink, or do drugs, but if you want to make me happy, buy me some cookies. Okay?
You know what? I'm going to go out of my way to find and see if these cookies are actually still in stock and try them out today. I mean, if that isn't a testimonial, you definitely
let me tell you, it's worth it. Now, I don't know if you, I mean, I know Clelia has made the news before, but there's a judge down at 36 named Clelia Davis. Clelia apparently knows somebody here who bakes the cookies as well, because I posted this once before on my Facebook page, and Clelia went on and she tagged her friend who also is from Chicago, and that person makes them. I don't remember. I saved the name then. I don't remember who that person is now, but that's because I know that I can go get them there, and they're fresh. By the time they put them in, a boxed and, they packaged them up and boxed them and shipped them here, they are, I'm not going to say they're stale, they're just not as fresh as they are when you get them when they're made there.
No, they're not straight out the oven.
Right. That's the difference. Because I can go buy them there, and I can, I will eat them suckers in the car on the way back home. So.
Well, I tell you what, if I had some personal reason to go to Chicago, I don't really go to Chicago unless there's something going on that I have a vested interest.
Rick, you the firearm guy. You can't be scared to go to Chicago. You can't be.
You know what? If we did a few things with our laws, then great. Because you know what?
I tell you what. Hold that thought, because we got to take a break. Hold that thought. We got to take a break. When we come back on the other side of the break, it's only a quick 3-minute break. Let me do what I've got to do for the next 3 minutes. When we come back, we're going to start on the firearm idea. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. I'm going to take a very quick break. We'll be right back.
Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? If so, you may qualify for the IRS's Fresh Start program. The Fresh Start program is one of the biggest tax breaks the IRS has offered. Call Tax Group Center at 800-685-6150 to see if you qualify for the IRS's Fresh Start program. Their team of tax experts and attorneys will get you the best tax settlement possible. Call 800-685-6150 now to learn if you qualify for the IRS's Fresh Start program. Call Tax Group Center at 800-685-6150. 800-685-6150.
Are you drowning in debt? Struggling just to make minimum payments? It's not your fault. Serious debt can happen to anyone, but there is hope. Our debt-free program has helped thousands of good people, just like you, eliminate their credit card debt. Call us today, and we will dramatically reduce your credit card debt down to just a fraction of what you owe. The call is free. The consultation is free. Take control of your credit debt. Take control of your life again. Call now to see how our debt-free program can work for you.
Call 800-872-5230.
If you or a loved one underwent hernia surgery between 2010 and 2016 and then suffered serious complications, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Complications associated with FISO-mesh include chronic pain, infection, adhesions, mesh migration, reopening of the hernia, and other serious injuries. Call right now.
Call 1-800-799-2091. Again, that's 1-800-799-2091.
Attention! In July 2018, Bayer announced that it will be halting its sales of Assure. The Assure birth control may break or migrate after insertion, puncturing the fallopian tube, resulting in corrective surgery to remove the device. Thousands of women have reported debilitating health problems to the FDA. In April 2018, the FDA restricted sales of Assure to protect women and required that patients receive risk information.
Please call 800-425-9539.
Right now, with traffic in Frenchtown Township, stop-and-go traffic right at Telegraph northbound between Stumter and North Monroe Street. Detroit, you have Ambassador Bridge slow down as northbound between Canada and the U.S. In Clarkston, you're looking at Dixie Highway northbound between Ortonville and Foster Road. There's a slowdown in Roseville right at I-696 westbound between 11 Mile Road and Grasset Avenue. In Ypsilanti, you have two slowdowns, both on Michigan Avenue eastbound, one's between US 23 and Carpenter Road, the other one between I-94 West Michigan Avenue and Huron Street. Bloomfield Hills, you're looking at Telegraph between Franklin and Square Lake Road. Also in southbound Telegraph and between Fairfax Avenue and Square Lake Road. In Dearborn Heights, you're looking at Telegraph southbound between Van Born and I-94. Bridgetown Township, you have a slowdown right at Telegraph northbound between Monroe and Grafton. And in Detroit, West Jeffrey southbound between Warren and Martin Luther King Boulevard. Now, on to today we're looking at a mix of clouds and sun this morning, followed by increasing clouds with a high of 74 degrees. Tonight we're looking at showers this evening and thunderstorms developing overnight with a low of 44 degrees. Tuesday we're looking at becoming partly cloudy after some morning rain, then high near 55 degrees. Tuesday night partly cloudy with a low of 41 degrees. Wednesday morning we're looking at cloudy skies with a high of 54 degrees. The weather's been brought to you by Weather Vision and the Traffic by the Total Traffic Network. Now, the second half of the Kerry Jackson Show, right here on 9:10 a.m., the Superstation, the voice of Detroit.
Good morning, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Jackson, your urban conservative. How are you this morning? Time now is 6:25. If you got to be there by 7 o'clock, you've got 35 minutes to get there. You're listening to 910 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. We've got a guest on the line, Rick Ector from Rick's Firearm Academy. He's got an event coming up, and before we spend 10 more minutes talking about cookies, let's talk about your event. Tell us about the event. Tell us what day the event is going to be held on and where the event will take place.
Yeah, man, I've heard a very distressing story approximately 8 years ago, man. Actually, it was just over 8 years ago. And it's one of the probably the most heinous things I've ever heard. A woman's body was found in the street, man, and it was like discarded as if it was just trash. And I was thinking, man, that's really distressing. That's horrible. Someone should do something about that. And I thought about it, and I said, well, you know what? I can do something. So I created this event. I did it at a local gun range, and it was, using all of my connections and abilities on Facebook to get the word out that I would give any woman that showed up at this particular gun range at the time a free shooting lesson. I'd pay for a gun rental, range time, and have a firearms instructor with that woman one-on-one. And the years progressed, man. Lo and behold, now 8 years later, I'm going to reprise and do that event again on Sunday, May 19th, man. But last year we trained 700 women in one day. My goal this year is to train 900 women with a free shooting lesson. We'll provide a gun, ammunition, a qualified instructor to be with her one-on-one at the gun range. There'll be some promotional giveaways. The Gun Owners of America is giving away baseball caps of all things, man. We're going to just have a time of it, man. And it's going to be, like I said, on Sunday, May 19th. Registration, though, is going to be on May 12th. All right? I have registration on a separate day for the simple fact that I want to make sure I minimize the number of no-shows. Anyone that's interested in signing up for, the free shooting lesson, I would advise them to go to Facebook, facebook.com/Michigan CCW, and go out to the page. There's an announcement. Sign up will hit the group, the event that I have signed up. There's an event page link. And once you're on that event page, on the day, I'll be sending out the announcements, and through Facebook, you know that registration will be open, and I'm looking for any woman that has a desire to learn how to shoot a gun. We're going to have a free shooting lesson. We're going to train 900 women how to do exactly just that.
Now, do you do this at different, 700 women, I'm assuming that you've set up a network where you've got more than one gun range involved.
No, it's actually one gun range, man. I used to just do it at one range, and then as the event grew, I had to redesign how I actually perform the service. And so what I do is I have approximately 5 time slots, 2-hour time slots. And I have people go online to this link that I'm going to have set up, and that link will go live on the 12th, Sunday, May 12th at 12 noon. And they can actually pick one of those time slots and sign themselves up for it. And they'll get an email confirmation through the mail, you know, the power of technology and the internet. You sign up, all you have to do is put your name and email address and the time that you want to be there, and you'll get a confirmation by email. And that receipt, that electronic e-ticket, you can either just show it on your phone or print it out. Bring it to the event on the day at the appropriate time, and we'll get you in and out in 2 hours.
Okay. Now, but for those folks that want to actually just do the sort of introduction to guns and the shooting, those people that actually take the regular class so that they can get their concealed pistol license, how do they get in touch with you, and when are the classes?
They'll be over at my event page, my promotional materials for, the class. It'll also be accessible on that page. But the thing that I do want to let everyone know is that we're not just going to throw a gun in your hand and just shove you into a booth with an instructor. We're actually going to do like maybe a 25, 30-minute quick presentation on firearm safety, how you're actually going to hold the gun, the stance, teach you on how to properly generate marksmanship and how to, properly shoot at a target, and so that you'll have some good results, even if it's your very first exposure to shooting. So it's going to be a great time, and it's very...
Are they all shooting 9mm? Are they shooting... please, do the Rangers even still use revolvers? Or is now everybody being trained simply with the semi-automatic pistol?
Well, the semi-automatics are definitely more popular, and that's what we'll be shooting, semi-automatics, and we will just be shooting 9mm. I deal with a lot of different entities and organizations that donate ammo, and to standardize the delivery of the service and minimize some of the variation of what people are comfortable with, we'll only be shooting 9mm. But I'm telling you, it's the most popular caliber, and I haven't met a woman that could not shoot a 9mm. So it'll be a great event. It'll be a great event, man, and it'll be very educational, and I swear it'll be the most thrilling moment of your day. And you may find that you are a born shooter and that you do very well despite it being your first experience.
So the page on Facebook is Michigan CCW?
That is correct. Facebook.com/Michigan CCW. It'll get them right over to the event. We'll get them right over to the event page itself and just sign up for the event page so you will get the notifications. It's not like you join a page where somebody say, hey, come over to my page and like it, and,
right.
And you'll receive all the updates and notifications.
For those folks that have decided that they don't want the government finding them because they've got warrants or afraid of things and they just refuse to join Facebook, how can those people find out about the event, or how can they reach you?
Well, definitely you can reach me over at, if you're not on Facebook at all, I would just advise a couple other things. DetroitCCW.com is my webpage for, my business in general. Or if you prefer, just have me give me a call. I'm at 313-733-7404. Again, that's 313-733-7404.
The website again
is,
I'm just going to say DetroitCCW.com. The phone number is 313-733-7404.
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, before we went to the commercial break, you had brought up a story about a question about guns and that type of thing. Man,
right.
Let me tell you, the only reason that I ever bought a handgun and that I got a concealed pistol license is because, let me tell you, I was walking around here in the city of Detroit at that time during that era, about 15 years ago, and didn't carry a gun, didn't want one, and you couldn't talk me into buying one. It wasn't until I got robbed at gunpoint in my own driveway coming home from work that I had an epiphany that I should take on a more active role in my personal protection. And if I can get robbed here in the city of Detroit, I can definitely get robbed in Chicago. So until I can carry a gun on the streets of Chicago, unless I have a compelling reason to go to Chicago without my gun outside of my car, I'm not going.
Yeah, they're not ready for that yet. Even with a firearm owner's ID card and everything. Right. I'm just saying, that Chicago is one of the most regulated.
I'll let you go to Chicago and bring those cookies back.
That'll work,
bring
brother.
Those cookies back, and I'll come catch you in Detroit.
All right. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Now, let me tell you, if you're going to do this on the 19th, I definitely need you to call me at least the Thursday or Friday again. Well, if your registration is the 12th, that's this weekend, can you try and call me again like Friday to remind people?
Man, I'll tell you what, I'll call in Friday. I'll even let you know beforehand on Thursday that I'll be calling you on Friday.
Perfect. I'll talk to you then. Thanks for calling, brother.
Man, I look forward to talking to you.
Have a good morning. We've been talking to Rick Ector, owner of Rick's Firearm, and you can reach him at his regular website is DetroitCCW.com. His number is 313-733-7404. He's got an event where he's going to train. Last year, he hit 700 women. This year, he wants to hit 900. It is a free introduction to shooting class. Well, there'll be a short class about firearm safety, and he wants to get as many women as possible signed up and trained on at least how to shoot the gun. And they'll be practicing on 9mm. For those of you that are on Facebook, you can, while you're on Facebook, you can go to the page, which is Michigan CCW. That's Michigan CCW is his event page, and sign up and for the link at that point in time so that you can get signed up for his event. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. Got some of you that are on hold. I know Isaac is going to talk trash because he thinks we put him on the back burner, but let's go to Isaac. Good morning, Isaac. How are you?
How be you?
I be fine, Mr. Backburner. Isaac, what's going on today?
Oh, okay. You got to tell Martin that your mic is too low.
My mic is too low?
Yeah, your mic is too low.
Martin, can you hear me just fine now? I think he stepped away. Okay, I'll tell him, but Martin doesn't set the level. I get to set the level. So if you tell me that the mic is low, the level is set at what it's always set at, but I'll turn it up. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
How about now? How do I sound to you now?
Oh, you better now. You better now.
Okay. That's got nothing to do with the level. It's got to do with whether or not my mouth is in front of the microphone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going back to the water department.
Okay.
During the Coleman Young and the Dennis Archer era, they had 5 crews at their treatment plant. One crew worked on days, one crew went to school on days. Kerry, everybody in that plant was well educated, from the highest to the lowest. And everybody could work everybody's job. You say if you was helping making $6 and the senior was out, you get to work the senior's job for the $20 an hour.
Isaac, turn your radio down.
I got it down to the low. You too low.
I'm back up. I needed the radio down because we were getting feedback. We were hearing the echo. You know, there's a delay on when what you say on when it actually hits the air.
Okay.
Go ahead. So everybody was trained. Some people are making $6 an hour, some are $20 an hour, but everybody at that point should know how the system works and to try and make sure that when there's a heavy rain coming, that the roads, the streets, and the highways should not be backed up because somebody should be checking the pumping stations, right?
Let me finish. All those people are gone, Gary. You had pilots come from Oakland County that can fly the 737, but they only had an hour of training. Okay?
Okay.
So, this is the reason you had that flood, because you got a whole bunch of, Gary, only black people used to work that dirty, nasty job. It's only when the white people find out the wages was $100,000 a year, they start coming in there. So they got rid of all of the old guard, the supervisors. They gave them lead gang jobs, and the white people took over the supervision.
So what year did you retire, Isaac?
In 99.
You've been gone for 20 years. So, and it's fair to say that between the time that you left in 99 and the time the city filed the bankruptcy, we lost a lot of the, as you said, there was the brain drain. The thing that everybody wants to know now is, whose fault is it that their basements were flooded?
It is the management of that treatment plant and Gary Brown, because you don't have the crews. Look, we was under consent decree, which demanded 5 crews. Now it's down to 2 crews. You can't run that big plant with 2 crews. It's impossible.
I got you. All right, Isaac.
Going from 5 to 2?
Going from 5 to 2, and the fact that the rains haven't stopped, actually the rains have increased. Then somebody, meaning the people, whether it's the citizens inside the city or those in the suburbs, need to make a little noise and make sure that the folks in the local governments understand that you won't sit for this.
Absolutely.
You won't stand for this, and you want to make sure that it does not happen again, that you spend too much money paying for your house and the things that are inside your house than for the stuff to back up and for you to wind up losing everything and throwing everything out on the curb. Okay.
Gary, it took 5 crews 10 years to get off that consent decree.
Well, it sounds like y'all are off of it now. But Isaac, let me knock out some of these other. Isaac, I gotta knock out some of these other callers this morning. Thanks for calling, but you know that that's the question that everybody's answering, so they appreciate your calls. Thanks for your call. Let's go to Nathan. Good morning, Nathan. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good.
Speaking of the mayor, Carmine said he didn't live in the city. And I found it interesting when he made his announcement. He said, I'm going to continue to live in the Manugan Mansion. What that got to do with him getting a divorce and living in the Manugan Mansion? I think what he meant, I'm going to move in the Manugan Mansion. What that got to do with
I think that was probably a hint that somebody else has already moved out of the Manugan Mansion.
Yeah, well, he gonna move in now. That's what he meant. I didn't understand why he had to make that point. Do you?
And let me just say this. The one thing that I've learned over the years is when people say things like that, they say it for a reason. He said it for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but he had some sort of indication that he needed to get that information out. He's got enough people that work for him that they review the things that he says before he makes those statements in front of the media. If that line was put in, that line was put there for a reason. So you get a chance to try and figure out why did they include that bit of information.
Yeah, right. That maybe he gonna move in. That's what it meant.
Maybe.
All right, you have a good one, Kerry.
But wait, you didn't answer the... Okay, he's gone. Let's go to Reggie. Yeah, you're right. Good morning, Reggie. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Kerry. How are you?
Pretty good. So tell me this. Do you think that the media is covering this current indiscretion by the mayor different than they covered Kwame Kilpatrick's indiscretion?
Oh, without question. Without question. I mean, like you've heard me and the viewing audience have heard me say this numerous times. We shouldn't be concerned on the alleged woman that Duggan is screwing. We should be concerned and focused on the citizens of Detroit that Duggan has screwed over. Okay? That's what a concern should be. We shouldn't be focused on all this drama. I mean, people go through divorces every day.
Every day.
Every day. And like Isaac was saying, everything that Isaac said from last week to today is absolutely correct. And those of us that work for the city and the different departments of emergency response, we know it because we all work together. And so it's just a sign that Duggan he's a poor leader, poor administrator, poor manager. And it is the city's fault, and the citizens should sue the city of Detroit to recover the loss of their property. Also, Kerry...
but wait a minute, here's the thing. The citizens don't have... I agree with you that is an avenue. That's a last-ditch effort, if nothing else, in order to try and recover. When you see people putting all of the things... Let me tell you this. When I used to live right off of 6 Mile, I had a flood in my basement I lived in North Rosedale Park. I had a flood in my basement from a heavy rain. Wound up having to call a plumber to come out, and he, rotted out the things all of the way out to the sewer, all of the way out to the city part, pulled a bunch of dead tree limbs and stuff out like that. The water was able to go down, and I was one of those people that you'll see around now. They have to go pull all of the furniture, the carpet, everything out of the basement. You got to take it out and throw it out, get rid of the dry rot, the wood, all of the stuff to make sure that you don't get the fungus growing in the basement and everything. I've lived through that, putting everything on the curb because your basement got flooded. Right. Now, but the problem is, even if you call your insurance company and then your insurance company tells you that's not covered, and you wind up, even if, since the governor has been nice enough to decide to declare Wayne County, and so for those folks that are outside Wayne County whose basement flooded, you've still got to look somewhere else. But for those within Wayne County, the governor has declared a state of emergency. So there will be some limited funds to try to, replace what you lost. It's never going to be able to cover the cost of what you lost. People don't want to be in this position where now I've got to go hire I thought that my insurance was going to cover it when you find out that your homeowner's policy won't cover it because this was a failure on the part of the government. This was not a God-given act. When you find out that that's not going to cover it and that the declaration of an emergency for the county won't really give you enough money. Let's say if they give you $1,000, yeah, it's $1,000 further than where you were, but it's never going to cover everything, then the time, the loss, the headache. They don't want to have to go through this. They don't want to be put in a position of having to then turn around and sue the city for it. They want the problem to not happen. They want it to be done right.
Oh, I got you. But what we're talking about, what Isaac and I'm talking about, is negligence on the city's part. You just heard the man say, and he retired. He was there, 30 years or whatever. You just heard him say that it used to be five shifts or 5 stations or whatever. Now you're down to 2. Come on. It just goes to show that the Duggan administration don't know what they're doing. I mean, you can't name 5 things that Duggan's done in the interest of the people since he's been the mayor. It's just like Brenda Jones. But here again, just to go back to this Little Caesars Arena, and the mayor talking about this happened, this deal was consummated before his time. Well, hell, he's in charge of the Downtown Development Authority, and the Downtown Development Authority is on the hook for that $74 million reimbursement or rebate that the City of Detroit Downtown Development Authority gave, in addition to the 300 and some million to the Illegals, if they kept their promise in terms of putting apartments and commercial buildings in the district. Well, you got the 27 parking lots, so they lied. So therefore, the mayor, being in charge of the Downtown Development Authority and council, they should go after what we call a clawback of that $74 million.
Here's the problem with the clawback. The stadium is built now. Yes. The stadium is open. The initial plans got expanded when the Pistons moved down there. So there is more, theoretically, more revenue because the stadium is being used more nights than that were put in the original pro forma when they said this is how many nights we're going to wind up using it for hockey. So yeah, they're using it. There's more income coming in, but you know how hard it is to say when you had probably 15 to 20 different organizations. There's something called the capital stack. For every project, whether it is a 3-unit apartment building, whether it's a 300-unit apartment building, whether it is a mall or whatever, there's stacks, there are layers and layers and layers of financing. In order to go back now and to say for one of those layers of financing, we believe that it was not authorized, it wasn't done appropriately, then we want to wind up stopping it and we want to send that money back to the city, the state, and the schools where that money belongs. The entire deal collapses. That's worse than a bankruptcy. You've got financing folks all over town, all over the country, who have put money in, and now you're going to tell them we've got to wind up renegotiating that agreement that you had from 5-6 years ago. I don't think that I got to tell you, that's going to be one of those things that every judge is going to fight you on because they're not going to want to destroy the deal. I think that the better course of action is going to be to hold somebody's feet to the fire, even if you've got to change elected officials to say, don't let this kind of crap happen again.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, Kerry. Now, if it was in Farmington Hills, Oakland County, anywhere, Macomb County, and white people, they'd be raising all kind of hell, okay? Black people sit there and just take the hit. And what we're saying is, hey, they came, the Illegals came before the city council, the city of Detroit, and lied. That's the bottom line. Now, the HBO special, they're airing it more and more. It was just on twice yesterday. And, like, people all over the country are saying, what in the hell is going on in Detroit? How do you go through, you're going through bankruptcy, you're given $300 and some million for the stadium, but you sweeten the deal with $74 million for them to put the housing, the additional apartments, the commercial entities in that district, and you didn't do it. So there has to be consequences, Kerry.
So, Reggie, before I go to the next caller, here's my question.
Yeah.
Your organization, you've been having meetings, you've been bringing people together. Where do we go between today and the next time? Because, look, either this things are going to be quiet and, we'll wind up keeping the mayor that we currently have, or what I'm real worried about is there are going to be some other revelations that are going to come out, and the citizens are going to be more involved in, now we've got to go re-elect another mayor. Between now but the citizens still want what we've just talked about. They don't want to have backdoor deals that are taking money or pledging taxpayer dollars for the next 30, 40 years, money that could have gone into the schools, money that could have gone into the regular tax base for the city and the state and everyone else. They don't want to see these sort of deals again. So how do we get to that point in time? How do we fix the problem?
Well, you fix the problem. I'm glad you asked that question. You fix the problem by calling me at 313-399-8290. And especially if you're a retiree, you need to get up off your behind get rid of your leadership, because your leadership for the active retirees is ineffective, and get engaged so that we can, as I said initially, lay the foundation for the future, get us some candidates that's going to fight for the interests of our children and grandchildren and the retirees. Let's make the retirees whole. We just gave Chrysler, $160 million? We just gave Ford, I think it was 200 and some million. Okay? And here again, we gave the Illigers $324 million that was earmarked for our kids in the Detroit public schools. In our retirees, we got a surplus in the city of Detroit. We got a surplus, budget surplus in the state, and not one damn elected official said anything about making the retirees whole.
How much would it actually cost? How much did the retirees lose in the bankruptcy? Is there a dollar amount that you can put on what it would take to make the retirees place them back where they would have been had there not been losses to them from the bankruptcy?
It's in the millions, Kerry. It's in the millions. I'm just saying none of our elected officials, nobody on council, the mayor, nobody is saying, hey, let's look at making the retirees whole. Hell, you just paid Matty Maroon $43.5 million for his land. Okay? And he was only getting $27 million from Chrysler for a 9-year deal. So how is it that you can give all the millions and millions to the developers, but you don't give a damn about the city workers who was promised that they would have a sustainable retirement? Okay? Look at the people who were paying, say, $300 a month for their medical. Now some of them paying $1,500 a month for medical. So this is crazy. So like I say, the solution to the problem is give me a call, 313-399-8290.
When's your next meeting? When is the next meeting of the Call 'em Out?
We're working on it. We may have a meeting this month. If not, it'll definitely be in June, and I'll keep you informed.
All right. Thanks, Reggie.
Okay?
All right. Have a good morning.
You too.
Martin, can I get Bill in?
Yeah, we can get it.
Let's go to Bill.
Oh, you know what he's going? Kenny.
Let's go to Kenny.
He's on.
Good morning, Kenny.
Good morning, Kerry. How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good. I'm going to run out of time in about a minute and a half. What's on your mind?
Okay. Listen, what I wanted to, on Channel 2 News last night, they announced that the flood victims could call the city of Detroit. They did not leave a number or anything of that nature or where department to call. But what they did state is that it has to be done before 10 o'clock this morning.
If I were you, I'd call the mayor's office. I'd flood the mayor's office, the phone lines at the mayor's office this morning.
Well, I just wanted to put that announcement. I didn't have no floods, but I wanted to put that announcement out there because I haven't heard anything on the radio. No one mentioned it.
Okay.
And like I said, at 10 o'clock in the morning, that's supposed to be the deadline for you to get in there to get called. But they didn't give a number. You don't know what department to call. You don't know anything. But I just want to put that announcement out there. They're supposed to call before 10 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Receive federal funds.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All right, it's now 6:56, and that means that I've run out of time. Next up is going to be the Nolan Finley Show, just made up of Nolan Finley, Andre Ash, Kelly Cobb, and Martin Patton, working all of the technical equipment to make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to. They're going to bring you all of the news that's fit to print, but you don't have to go out and go buy a newspaper. Just leave your radio tuned to 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit, and you'll be brought up to speed on everything. Today is Monday, so you know that Nolan is usually going to have Congress people and folks from Cranes calling in. I promise you it's going to be an exciting show. Stay tuned, and I'll talk to you at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Until then, have a great day. Try and enjoy the 75-degree weather we're going to get sometime later in the day because it's going to cool off again later in the week. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.